Hello aspirants, looking at current affairs for 5th December. We have picked up these 13 news items from the Hindu. The first one, India-Afghanistan corner Pakistan or terror in Amritsar. So this is the Heart of Asia conference, Istanbul process, which is going on in Amritsar. Last year this was held in Islamabad in Pakistan. This is an annual meet which is held since 2011, and in this conference the agenda is discussing various dimensions in the neighborhood of Afghanistan. So there are 14 countries which are part of Heart of Asia conference, Afghanistan and its neighbors. India, China, Russia, Pakistan, all these are amongst the members. So we have already seen about Heart of Asia in earlier news articles. So Afghanistan president will be the permanent co-chair in this meeting, and the other chair will be the country in which it is conducted. So presently, since it is in Amritsar, Prime Minister Narendra Modi and Afghan President Ashraf Ghani co-chaired the meeting, and in this stinging comments were made by President Ashraf Ghani of Afghanistan against Pakistan. When Pakistan proposed $500 million fund for development of Afghanistan, Afghanistan said rather use this to eliminate extremism in your country from which terrorism emanates. That would help in further development, because without peace there can be no development for the people of Afghanistan. So Afghanistan also has its grievances against Pakistan because there is this group called Haqqani Network which targets Afghanistan. It is an Afghan terror group and it takes shelter in Pakistan. So Pakistan is a clear neighbor of Afghanistan. So this is the point. Afghanistan wants Pakistan to act strongly against such terror groups, which Pakistan does not do up to as the expectations are. So that is the case. So India has the same tone. Prime Minister Narendra Modi also spoke on the similar lines. So there is this Amritsar declaration which was passed after this summit. Even the last year 2015 Islamabad declaration, since last year it was held in Islamabad, also spoke of ending sanctuaries, means places where terrorism prevails, where terrorism hides, and funding for terror. So this needs to be eliminated, and even Islamabad declaration went further ahead on that. It has named various terrorist organizations. So this is important from prelims perspective too. Al-Qaeda, Islamic State are named. Apart from that, other groups are LET and JEM, Lashkar-e-Toiba and Jaish-e-Mohammed, which are Pakistan-based terrorist organizations targeting India. Then Haqqani Network, as I spoke of, attacks Afghanistan. Then there is another group called Jandullah. So Jandullah is a grouping you can see here. So it is in Iran. This is the region in which this is prominent. So this is a terrorist group here in this Sistan Baluchistan region of Iran, Pakistan. Then another grouping is ETIM, East Turkestan Islamic Movement. So this East Turkestan Islamic Movement is in China, in this Xinjiang province in China. Kashgar is the place here. So this is another terrorist group. Then there is Islamic Movement of Uzbekistan, targeting Uzbekistan, Central Asia basically. So these are the terrorist groups. Another two terrorist groups named are also those who conduct terror attacks in Pakistan itself. So these are Tehrik-e-Taliban Pakistan and Jamaatul Ahrar. So UPSC does ask questions on terrorist groups and where are they prominent. So you should know these important terrorist groups at least. Then the next news item is Centre shifts gears to promote organ donation. So presently, Centre is planning to pass an amendment to the motor vehicles rules. So in this, the form which you will have to fill for driving licenses, that will have an option in which you can declare that the license holder is willing to donate his organs in case of accidental death. So this is an option which will be inserted. So this will help in bringing in more organ donations in India. India has highest number of accidents, deaths globally in the world. So there are 11 per lakh population accidents which take place. So this death rate due to road accidents is quite high in India. So this is also there. Plus, if there are road accidents taking place, there is not enough awareness about organ donation. So this initiative may help in that process. Of course, more awareness is also should also be brought in. But then another point is that it does not mean that once you have ticked it yes, it means that your organs will have to be donated. But then later too, there's an option that if the family member or the person later declines, it is accepted. So legal custodian or family can decide later as well. So this is not compulsory to do this then. So choice still remains. So that is here. You can see the organ donation rate in India is also quite low. 0.26 people per million in India undertake organ donation, while in America it is 26 per million. So million means 10 lakh. So you can see, so both organ donation rate is very low and death rate due to road accidents is very high, highest globally. Then the next news item is Niti Aayog announces incentives for collectors. So Niti Aayog has now declared that every district collector who encourages individuals in his district to shift to digital payment mode will be provided rupees 10 as an incentive per individual. So for that that person will have to make at least 2 successful transactions by digital payment. So the Niti Aayog says that we have already transferred 5 lakh per district based on the population figures, so that this payment can be done, incentive payment can be done to district collectors. So this is one way in which they want to promote digital payment, digitization of the economy. They have also declared awards. So there will be Digital Payment Champions of India Award and Digital Payment Award of Honor for districts and panchayats who undertake digitization. So top 10 best performing and first 50 panchayats going cashless, they will be awarded respectively. Then the next news item is again on promoting digitization. So this is digital economy, student volunteers to get SOP. So students in higher educational institutions can earn academic credits if they undertake project work for volunteering as agents of India attempting to transform it into a digital cashless economy. So they have to work in their neighborhood, educating people and making them aware of digital payment mode and encouraging them to undertake this. So this is part of the Vidya Saksharta Abhiyan, under which students can volunteer and take this project work and earn credits accordingly. So this is their Vidya Saksharta for financial literacy presently to undertake transformation towards digital economy. Then the next news item is transforming the landscape of Rajasthan. So this is regarding a watershed program of the state. This is Mukhyamantri Jal Swavlamban Abhiyan. So water independence or self-dependence. So this Jal Swavlamban Abhiyan was initiated in 2015. The first phase of the project was implemented in Jhalawar district from October 2015 to June 2016, and it has been quite successful. There are 90 drought-prone villages which have benefited from this watershed management program, and it used this concept of 4 water concepts. So these 4 water concepts are formulated by T. Hanumant Rao, who was former UN's consultant on conservation of water too. So these 4 water concepts comprises of conserving water in 4 aspects. One is rainwater, second is groundwater, third is surface water, and fourth is soil moisture. So that concept has been utilized here in a modified form in this scheme Abhiyan 2. Plus then another scheme plan implemented is chain link tanks system. So this is a system which is practiced in Telangana, which has been brought into effect in Rajasthan as well. So it's a system during the Kakatiya rulers in Andhra. During those times this system was used, chain link tank system. So tank irrigation was used, and in this tank irrigation chains of tanks were formed. So tanks at heights. So based on the heights, tanks were set up and they were linked together through chains. So that is called chain link tank system. So in a typical, it's a cascade of tanks. So upstream tanks, when they are having a surplus, that will flow downstream into the lower tanks. So this system has also been used in this Mukhyamantri program. So this is the program. The details are given here too. You can see in Rajasthan. So 4 water concepts is used. Then the next news item is healthier lifestyle can prevent type 2 diabetes cases by 70%, say experts. So diabetes is of 2 major types. There are other types too, like during pregnancy too, females undergo diabetic phase. So that is different. But in general, there are 2 types of diabetes, type 1 diabetes and type 2 diabetes. So type 1 diabetes is a minority. Type 2 diabetes affects majority of the population. So more than 80% of the people generally in developed countries to undergo or suffering from type 2 diabetes. So of the people who are diabetic. So what is the difference between type 1 and type 2 is type 1 is caused due to destruction of insulin producing cells. So lack of insulin results in diabetes. So sugar levels in the blood increase. So this insulin producing cell is destroyed. So this is type 1 diabetes. This is islet of Langerhans. If you know a little biology too, you would know. So they produce insulin. They are destroyed. And in type 2 diabetes, the deficiency in insulin production is there. So the cells are there, but insulin deficiency is there. So this is the difference. So presently it is said that type 2 diabetes can be prevented in case of 70% of the people if they have a proper diet and exercise. So that is there. Then the next news item is Amur Falcon's space surprise flying visit. So Amur Falcon is a marathon flyer. It's a flyer who migrates from again Siberia in the northern hemispheres till South Africa. So marathon flyer means they fly far off distances. So like that. So these have been spotted presently in Karnataka as well, in this Daroji Sloth Bear Wildlife Sanctuary in Karnataka. So generally they are not sighted in southern India. They start from Nagaland and they grow up to South Africa. Of course, the origin is in Siberia, up Mongolia, Russia, all these regions from where they start off. So this is the news. So what is important for us is to know that Amur Falcon has a long route which it goes through when it migrates from northern hemispheres during the winters, and another is about the wildlife sanctuary. So for these two aspects, this has been added. Then the next news item is Environment Ministry postpones forest policy indefinitely. So the Indian Forest Policy of 1988, it calls for conservation, preservation of forest and also regeneration of forest, and target is that at least 33.33%, 1/3% of the area, land area of India should be under forest or tree cover. So this is the promise, the aim of the Indian Forest Policy. The Environment Ministry had plans to relook into this Indian Forest Policy, but presently it has said it has dropped any such plan because there was a committee set up. So it was this institute, Bhopal based Indian Institute of Forest Management, which was given the task of reviewing and revising the existing forest policy. So it has submitted its report. It has provided various suggestions too, like promoting the commercial use of wood, greater role for industries in forest management, time-bound review of the progress which is made in effectively managing forests. So all these aspects have been the suggestions put forth by this Forest Management Institute, and this draft has been put forth on the Environment Ministry's website as draft national policy, but now the ministry claims that it was inadvertently uploaded, it was wrongly uploaded. It is not a draft policy, it is just a study done by the institute. So Environment Ministry is not going to relook at the forest policy right now. Then the next news item is Army going great guns with deal for US howitzers. So the Indian Army is buying 145 M777 ultra light howitzers. So these are guns which will be purchased from US based company BAE. So this BAE systems guns will be provided to India under the Made in India scheme for defense sector too. So under this there is an offset agreement. So what do you mean by an offset agreement? Means that entire purchase would not be direct import, but part of it will be direct. So 25 of them will be imported and remaining 120 out of these 145 will be assembled in India. So that will result in employment generation in India as well. So there will be an offset partner too. So this is a scheme, means whatever you earn through this contract, you have to put it back into India as well. So they will have to establish factories here or coordinate with a partner in India and have this manufacturing done in India. So that is bringing the money back into India as well. So this, they have chosen the partner too. So BAE Systems has selected Mahindra Group as its local offset partner. There will be other offset partners also who will come on board. So this is regarding this howitzer guns. This is the first one which will be purchased now, because since the Bofors scandal, since in 1980s, there has been no gun import which has taken place so far. So there are many proposals, but they are in the process. None of them have been finalized yet. So Bofors scandal took place in 1980s during the Rajiv Gandhi government. So that was a Swedish company, Bofors, from which these guns were to be purchased. But then there were reports in Sweden there was announcement on Swedish radio that there are kickbacks in this agreement. Defense agreement means people have been paid bribes for this, allowing this agreement to go through. So this news resulted in a huge scandal. So that went on till late. So eventually CBI gave a clean chit to Kotrache, who was the person indicted in this scam. So anyway, so after that, no purchase has taken place. Another gun which the article speaks of is Dhanush gun. So these are manufactured by Ordnance Factory Board. So this is an indigenously developed gun, but then 80% of it is indigenous as claimed. So this is a 38 kilometer range gun. Then another one is also been developed by DRDO. So this is Advanced Towed Artillery Gun System. So this is having a range of 40 kilometer. So India is also developing its guns, plus we are also looking at imports. So this is regarding the import from US. Then the next news item is, so this is regarding the Bofors which we spoke of. 1986, this was a contract with Swedish firm Bofors. 87, the Swedish radio broadcasted, and then CBI initiated the case. Finally, it gave a clean chit to Kotrache, who was the main accused in this kickbacks. In 2009, he got a clean chit and the case was closed by CBI in 2011. So even in articles today, we are going to discuss a question on CBI and its politicization. So that is to some extent true too. Then the next news item is, your digital wallet can be a pickpocket. Means the apps, the digital wallet apps like Airtel Money, Jio Money, Paytm, Freecharge, which you download on your mobile phones, can act as a pickpocket. They can snatch information, various information from your phones, because such apps before downloading ask for permissions, and the type of permissions which they ask for, whether they are actually required or not. A study has been made by the Hindu on this and it gives the details. So these permissions, if you don't say accept these permissions and deny them, then the download does not take place. So you are bound to provide permissions, only then the download takes place. So these kind of permissions required are for directly calling phone numbers from your phone. Then some also ask to read call logs in your phone. Some are asking for permissions to modify contacts. Some ask permission to record audio. So all such kind of permissions which they seek are much more than what should be required. One example is given of PhonePe. So this is a model, it says, which can be followed, because it clearly states the permission it is seeking and explains why it needs each one of these permissions. So that is there. And this Paytm, other digital wallet apps, these apps have different set of permissions which they ask for on the downloads page and on the web page of their website. On that they have different set of permissions, so there are additional permissions also required. So these are some features which need to be cautiously looked into before downloading apps. Then the next news item is, as India goes digital, hacking targets multiply. So if people are going into digital mode, then there are chances of more cyber crimes also taking place. Already there is a 350% rise in cybercrime cases in India registered under the IT Act of 2000 from 2011 to 2014. So this is going to increase further. There's something called spear phishing. So first you should understand what is phishing and then what is spear phishing. So phishing basically means, it is PH rather than F, but it means the same thing, that you put a bait and you wait for somebody to fall in your trap. So that is email messages sent or websites created or phone calls made, so that you give your secure information and the person can steal your money, sensitive information, data. So these are cyber criminals. So this is called phishing. So you receive emails that you have won so much dollars and rupees of awards, and you give your details so that you can be given this award. So all these are email messages which are part of phishing, and people who fall in this trap, then they are deprived of their crucial information and money. So this is there. Then another term which is being spoken of here is spear phishing. So spear is like this spear which is used to specific target. So spear phishing is same as phishing, but it is having a specific target. So in a company, a particular person is specifically selected, and then emails are sent to him specifically showing that it is from an official source, and then the information is fished out from him. So this is spear phishing. So the process is also seen that you first gather intelligence of an individual about the information about him in a target company, and then you send him messages, and when he opens your attachment or something, then the details can be fished out. Then the next news item is Sagarmala could deepen India's trade and investment ties with China. So the Sagarmala project is an initiative of the present government started in 2015. So the objective of this to have a string of world-class ports along the eastern and western coast, and they should be well connected with industrial clusters in the hinterland, means inside. So this is the Sagarmala project. So there will be ports developed across the east and west coast, and all the regions near the ports will be developed as industrial clusters. So this is something which India is planning to do. And another project is Belt and Road Initiative. So this comprises of two parts, or it's also called OBOR, One Belt One Road Initiative. So this is China's infrastructure project across the continents. So this project is comprising of regions from Asia, Europe as well as Africa. So this is a huge initiative, infrastructure development initiative, which comprises of two parts again. So one is by road and one is by sea route. So this is New Silk Road Economic Belt and New Maritime Silk Road. So these two together form OBOR, One Belt One Road, or Belt and Road Initiative. So these, you can see, these will be the regions connected through this. So New Silk Road is through road, but what is connected with Sagarmala is the Maritime Silk Road. So Maritime Silk Road, you can see, starts from China, goes to Southeast Asia, comes to Sri Lanka as well, and then goes to Africa and through Middle East here into Europe. So here it can be connected with Sagarmala initiative too, especially on the eastern coast. So Krishnapatnam port in India, these can be act as an access point and connectivity point between connecting Maritime Silk Road of China with Sagarmala project of India. So there is a possibility for this. Also there is cultural connectivity between the two nations, that is on Buddhism. So a Buddhist circuit can also be developed. So there are such proposals being put forth now. So that is regarding this, that India-China investment ties, because this basically route is developed for trade. So trade and investment can flourish if the two work together. So that is highlighted here. Then the last news item is an unkied cut for idle EPF account holders. So EPF, Electronic Provident Fund accounts, get an interest. So this is an interest of around the 8% which is provided to them. But then many EPF accounts stay idle. So people do not make contributions to EPF. Some go abroad and are working abroad. So because of these reasons, EPF accounts which stay idle, the interest was not accrued into them. So since 2011, because the 2011 notification suspended this interest credits being provided to EPF accounts. So since 2011, interests were not provided by this notification, but the present government in 2016 earlier said that this interest would be now credited. But presently now they have said that these interests will be credited only to those inoperative accounts which come forth and declare that they are transferring the account or closing the account. Only then this interest would be credited, otherwise it would not be. So that is there. So up to 55 years of age, the person achieves this age, the EPF account credit is done, interest credit. So there are 9 crore employee provident fund accounts which are lying inoperative out of the total of 15 crores. So there is a huge amount of inoperative EPF accounts. So these interests will now not be paid anymore. So that is the news here, unless and until they come forward. So that is it for today. Thank you so much.